Hey guys, what's up? Death Metal Bard here. Sorry I haven't done any videos. I've been really busy with school and work and things like that, but I decided I needed to kind of talk about something. Something kind of irritated me, got me really... Yeah, my hair looks like shit. Anyway, something that kind of got me in a kind of a shitty mood. And it involves one of my favorite shows, OKKO. Recently, one of the episodes they put out was about this snake oil salesman who comes to the plaza and he gives everybody, well, people buy a skeleton remote from him. And basically what it does is, you shoot someone with it and it turns them into a skeleton. They're not dead, obviously. It's a cartoon. But, they're fully skeleton and stuff. And close to, I already figured out what it fucking was. It was about gun control. So I'm like, okay, let me see how their logic behind this. And it gets to a part where KO's, singing about, because it's like a little bit of a musical, and he starts singing about, the dangers of the skeleton remote, and, people, and he's like, we should, either get rid of them, or they should be regulated, ban them from places, and people are like, no way, there's strangers out there, we need to defend ourselves. It's like, well, I'm going to keep my gun, my skeleton remote, to protect me from people like you, and blah, blah. And basically, it's like he has it's like, we all find out, spoiler, it's a bad dream, and he tells his mom, and his mom goes, it's like, if you ever, you feel like you need to say something about that, it's like, contact your local congressman. Wink. And then at the end, of course, the congresswoman bans the skeleton remotes. She bans them forever, and that's pretty much the end of the episode. Now, why do I feel like I need to talk about this? Well, obviously, because for all intents and purposes, gun control stuff has become, incredibly divisive, incredibly, antagonistic on both sides. But I kind of want to talk about why the skeleton remote allegory kind of falls apart. It's quite simple, quite the way that it's presented. The gentleman who sells the skeleton remotes, he's called the problem solver. An obvious, allegory again to how guns are the problem solver. But yet they cause the problem. Do you get the fucking reference there? The allegory? Anyway. So, he gives, he starts, selling these skeleton remotes, and, he, gives them, the big, kind of sale about them and what they can do and how they can protect people, and that you can only use it for, turning people into skeletons, bad guys, obviously. A lot of the characters who are heroes, who are, superpowered, whatever, they start. One of them, in particular, he looks incredibly paranoid because he starts, zapping people for really no reason. He's like, oh, sorry, I thought you were attacking me, or something like that. And I go, hold on here, one little minute here. You're telling me that you honestly believe that a law-abiding citizen, a person who has no criminal record, who has no accounts of mental instability, is going to get a gun and start randomly shooting someone because they think they are attacking them? Obviously, I know that in news and lots of smaller things like that, that can happen. I mean, a lot of shootings, sometimes come from, accidental. Someone accidentally shoots somebody. I mean, I understand that. That's not the problem. But the way that you're representing it makes it seem like as soon as somebody has a gun, or in this case, the skeleton remote, they're going to immediately start zapping people for no real reason. You make it seem like skeleton remotes, aka guns, are unregulated, which is not true. There is a tremendous and extensive amount of red tape and extensive background checks, mental evaluations. You have to take courses. You have to take this and that and the other before you can even, remotely say that you have a gun. And you also have to have documentation that says that you legally on you have possession of a firearm. Whether or not, in your state, if it's a conceal or open carry, well, that's a state thing. But the fact of the matter is that you have to have documentation that says you have a firearm. And it's the same thing with, I live out in Texas. Where, we hunt, quail and, javelinas and things like that. And we have rifles. We have hunting rifles and, shotguns, things like that. And, I've been around guns a lot of times. I know not to touch one if I don't know if I don't know what gun it is, I don't touch it. Like, the only time I touch a gun is if I'm going to go hunting. And even then, like, I usually try not to, handle a gun as much as possible. Not that I'm afraid of a gun, but because really I don't live out in the country anymore. So, anyway, I'm going off tangent here. But the way that OKKO has presented this is that guns are not regulated, that anyone can have them. In fact, they even make it a reference that the skeleton remotes are being sold to heroes and criminals. And people get mad about that, and he goes, oh, well, see, I have, this the three-pronged skeleton remote. That's only for heroes. And they go, oh, okay, that makes sense. And, they're buying his, these new remotes like crazy and everything. And I'm like, but that's not how that works. That's not how that works. And then they do it, like, again, and KO, when he's singing about, about the regulations and banning them from certain spaces. So people are like, well, you're infringing on the actual right for people to utilize the skeleton remotes. And I go, yeah, that's correct. Because all those places are already banned. You can't have weapons. You can't have guns in those places. And it shows, a school and a park and movie theater, the typical shit. And I go, okay, so this is all banned and whatever. What's to stop someone from getting the skeleton remote, taking it to the park, and turning people into skeletons there? Because for all intents and purposes, if you really want to use this allegory, see, you can already tell by the way I'm talking that it's already completely fallen apart. Because it's completely nonsensical. You're making it seem like guns aren't regulated and aren't controlled. They're already controlled. Like, and the fact that and the fact that the end where it's like completely banned. All skeleton remotes are banned, basically meaning all guns are going to be banned forever. And I'm like, no, that's stupid. That's incredibly stupid. You live in a fucking world where there are superheroes, supervillains, giant monsters, action heroes, fantasy like knights and dragons and a whole bunch of other shit. You even have characters who, one of them, I believe it's Red Action, I think, like, she has a fucking blaster for a hand. And you have evil robots that have blasters for hands. How can you fucking tell me that makes your world safer by completely banning something? I mean, come the fuck on. Okay, I'm already hitting like 10 minutes already for this fucking shit. So, okay, KO, I love the series, I love the characters, but when it comes to trying to basically espouse a viewpoint, you guys created a logical fallacy. I still watch the show, obviously, because I love the show, but come on, guys, you're better than that. Death Metal Bard, signing out.